over $5,000 on testing to figure out what was going on with my gut over the course of my life. Blood work, a colonoscopy, comprehensive stool tests, food sensitivity panels, urine organic acids testing, SIBO, mold, heavy metals, and more. And the kicker is I still had constipation. I was still bloated and I still didn't know what to do. Not because the tests were wrong, but because nobody, not a single provider, was sitting down with me and putting all of these pieces together. I had thousands of dollars of data and zero clarity on what to actually do with it. That experience totally changed how I practice. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what changed and what I know now works way better than testing as a starting point. I'm Erin Harner, Integrative Registered Dietitian Nutritionist and Specialist in Gut Health. I've worked with hundreds of women who have come to me after years of testing, trying all the things and still not getting answers. Let me show you what's actually missing. Here's what I hear over and over from women who find me. They've been through the system. Maybe their GI doctor ordered a colonoscopy. It came back normal. The primary care physician ran blood work. Amazing. But it came back normal, or everything looked fine. They found a functional medicine practitioner who ordered a comprehensive stool test and a food sensitivity panel. The stool test showed dysbiosis. The food sensitivity panel gave them a list of 30 different foods to eliminate. And now they have a stack of lab results, a shrinking list of foods that they can eat, and they're still constipated, still bloated, and still frustrated. Does this sound like you? It was certainly me. And here's what I want to name clearly, because this is not a testing problem. Testing itself can be super valuable at the right time. The problem is fragmentation. Each test was ordered by a different provider. Each result was interpreted in isolation. Nobody sat down with the full picture and asked, what does this all mean together? And what do we actually do about it? That's a systems problem. The medical system is not designed for integration. It's designed for specialization. Your gastroenterologist interprets your colonoscopy. Your functional medicine practitioner interprets your stool test. Your primary care physician interprets your blood work. And you're sitting in the middle trying to figure out how to connect the dots that nobody handed you a map for. More data is not the same as more answers. And for most women with chronic constipation, especially early in their healing, more testing is not the first next step. It's a detour. And this realization didn't just come from my own experience, although it certainly did. It came from watching what happened when I created my own program. When I first built the Gut Rhythm Reset, I required every client I worked with to run a comprehensive stool test before we started working together. I ran close to about $400, and I had a clinical reason for it. I wanted data. I wanted to know what was happening in the microbiome before we began, so we had a starting point. But here's what I started noticing. Clients were getting real results without it. Their digestion was improving, their constipation was resolving, their energy was coming back, and in many cases, the test added complexity and cost to their experience without actually changing the approach. The approach was the same. Now I offer an optional, more targeted $130 or so test later in the program after we build the foundation, after rhythm is restored, and after we actually know what specific question we're trying to answer with the test. That shift not only made the program more accessible, it made it more effective. Not because testing isn't valuable, but because the foundation, rhythm, habits, observation has to come first. So what replaced the test as a starting point? A food, mood, and symptom log. It's free. It's available on any piece of paper or any notes app on your phone. I know it doesn't sound as impressive as a comprehensive stool analysis, but stay with me for a second, because what this simple tool reveals is something that no test can actually capture. Here's why. A lab test is a snapshot. It tells you what was present in your gut on the day you submitted the sample. And that can be helpful, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't tell you what happened after you ate that meal, last Tuesday at your desk while answering emails. It doesn't tell you that your digestion falls apart every Sunday night because you've been running on no sleep and 3 meals off schedule all weekend. It doesn't tell you that the salad that wrecked you on Wednesday was fine on Monday, because Monday you had a relaxed lunch and Wednesday you were rushing. A food, mood, and symptom log actually can tell you all of that, and that information is directly actionable. Here's how I teach my clients to use it. You track what you eat, how you feel before you ate, and what symptoms showed up and when. Your stress level, your sleep, your bowel movements, and critically, you change only one variable at a time. Because here's one of the most valuable clinical insights I can give you. A food reaction doesn't always mean the food is the problem. It means that at that moment in time, the food in your body had a mismatch. And the variables that create that mismatch are not always or even usually the food itself. It might be that you ate too fast, that you were stressed, that you hadn't slept last night, that you ate something that was fine in small amounts, but too much in the portion you had. A symptom log helps you reveal patterns across time. A test reveals a snapshot in time. So for chronic constipation, patterns are where the answers live. And there is value in testing, but it is never the place I start. So I want to teach you how to become your own best investigator. So here's how to actually use this in practice, because I don't want this to become just another tracking burden. Keep it simple. You don't actually need a fancy app or a color-coded spreadsheet. You just need 3 things: what you ate and when, how you felt before and after, and what your gut did. That's it to start. Then you zoom out and you look for patterns, not in a single day, but across a week, 2 weeks, a month. That's where it gets really interesting. That's where you start to notice that it's not the eggs that are the problem, it's the eggs eaten in a rush on a stressed Tuesday morning. That it's not the coffee, it's the coffee on an empty stomach after a night of broken sleep. And when you think you've identified something, a food, a timing pattern, a stress trigger, you change that one thing. Not 5 things, 1. And you observe what happens. This is what it means to tune into your body and know what to do with that information. Your body has been generating data your entire life. This log just gives you a way to read it. So I want to tell you about a client who came into the Gut Rhythm Reset not too long ago after doing what she called, in her own words, all the things. She had testing done, she had protocols, she had a list of supplements longer than her grocery list. I know. She had eliminated multiple foods and she was still constipated, still bloated, and still dreading every meal. We started with a foundation. Rhythm first. A symptom log, 1 variable at a time. We built consistent eating patterns together. We worked on her nervous system, especially around meals. She didn't run a single additional test for the first several months, and something started shifting pretty quickly. Her digestion became more predictable, then more consistent, then almost quietly, it just started working daily, regularly, without much input. What she told me a few months in is what I remember most. She had just come back from a trip. She had eaten at restaurants just about every day, and she had been on planes, she had been off her normal schedule, she'd been eating with family, and she had stayed regular the entire time. She had traveled without thinking about her gut for the first time in years. She said, "It's so crazy. I feel like my gut is adaptable." And that's what I mean when I say that function follows rhythm. That's the outcome. No tests produced, but that the observation first approach made it possible. Now, I want to be really clear because I don't want you to walk away from this video thinking testing has no place, because that's not the case at all. It absolutely does. I do use testing in my practice, I recommend it, and I interpret it. But the timing and the sequence matter enormously. Here's my current thinking on when testing is genuinely useful. So for standard blood work, a CBC, a comprehensive metabolic panel, a full thyroid panel with TSH, free T3, free T4, and reverse T3 if you can get it, plus red blood cell magnesium is ideal. It's something that I recommend for almost anyone with chronic constipation. These are things that your primary care physician can order for you, or a gastroenterologist, and they give you a baseline picture of what's actually happening systemically. For the most part, these are standard labs. Colonoscopies, endoscopies, and abdominal x-rays to assess stool burden are absolutely warranted when there's a clinical reason. These are tools your gastroenterologist manages, and they give structural information that really nothing else can. IgG, IgA, and C3d complement testing. I use this when I suspect food-driven inflammation is contributing to gut symptoms, and I want objective data rather than guesswork. Comprehensive microbiome testing using 16S sequencing is what I use the most. I use this when rhythm is restored and there may be some still lingering unresolved symptoms. Not at the start, because you're testing a gut that hasn't been supported yet. Test it after you've done the foundational work and you'll get much more clinically meaningful data. SIBO breath testing or 3-gas breath testing is certainly valuable for the right client, and something I do recommend when there's a clinical suspicion. Again, this is a targeted tool, not a first step. And oat or organic acids testing and micronutrient testing can be very helpful when there's specific symptoms pointing in that direction. Not for everybody, but for the right person, they can be a game changer. The common thread in all of these is that they're targeted. They're ordered to answer a specific question, and most of them are way more useful after that foundation is already in place, not before you've even started building it. So here's the reframe I want you to leave with. The testing industrial complex, and I say that without judgment toward any individual practitioner, because this is a systems problem, not a people problem, has sold us on the idea that more data equals more answers. And if we just find the right test, the right panel, the right marker, we'll finally know what to do. But for chronic constipation, for most women that I work with, the answers aren't hidden in a lab result. They're hidden in plain sight. And the patterns of daily life that just nobody's ever helped them read. Your eating timing, your stress patterns, your nervous system, your sleep, your movement, your body's responses over days and weeks and months, your food intake, your hydration status. That's your data. And it's free, and it's more actionable than almost anything a test can actually tell you, especially before your gut has rhythm to stand on. Function follows rhythm, and rhythm starts with observation, not a lab order. So if you want to understand what's actually keeping your gut stuck, not just a test result, but the specific rhythm disruptions that are driving your symptoms, I have 2 free resources that can help you right now. The first is my free training called Still Bloated and Backed Up. It walks you through the 3 gut rhythm mistakes I see most often in women who have tried everything, including the testing first trap. The link is at the top of the description. And the second is my gut clarity quiz, and I want to be specific about why this matters here. The quiz is designed to do what most expensive testing doesn't: give you clear, actionable information about what your next step should actually be. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes, and the link is right at the top of the description. If this video gave you permission to trust your own body's data a little bit more, give it a like. It genuinely helps more women find this content. And if you know someone spending money on test after test without getting answers, send this video to them. It might be exactly what helps them stop testing and start building. This video is next.